about earthquake damaged records. Was what we were talking about. It's quite an interesting conversation. I think I'm the only one of the four of us who has earthquake damaged records, but it could happen to anyone if you live in an earthquake prone city. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. We're back again, Friday Night Live, Friday Fun at the Funhouse. What are you listening to? How are you feeling out there? How are you feeling, guys? Good to see everyone. I'm feeling all right.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
I'm feeling all right with the crew.
Just a second.
It's going to be a great show. Jeffrey and Jay are with me tonight. We're going to have a blast talking about 20 records that we've been having a blast listening to this past week. We've got 5 each. I've got no idea what anyone else is going to show. They don't know what I'm going to show. That's what we're going to do tonight. It's going to be a great time, as it always is. If you're in the chat, join in. Don't punish us too much. Actually, do punish us if you'd like to. But
casual punishment is good for you.
I like punishments.
That's right, because we've already talked about how there's some light friendships happening. You should also be allowed a little bit of light punishment from the people.
Hopefully by the end of the show we'll be heavy friends. I think that's about it. You know what? I'm going to announce next week's show now instead of at the end. It might be more productive to do it now. I think it looks like I'm going to be alone with 2 Canadians next week. Oh. Greg from SHIT and Not Dead Yet Toronto, and Dave Stevenson from Emissions Records Toronto, and me together next week. What's the date? Friday, February 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern. Tune in and see you next week. But before that, we've got a show to do. So I'm going to kick off with my first pick. Is everyone ready? We ready to go? Yeah. Let's do this. Gordon Smith guitars. Anyone familiar with the Gordon Smith guitar? We had a big talk about it last week. I think it's a UK thing. So we're talking about UK bands that utilize the Gordon Smith guitar. It has a very distinct tone, leatherface, snuff, big, chiming, ringing guitars, and we had a big discussion about that. So I've got an American band that are contemporary that kind of could fit into like Gordon Smith hardcore. I don't think Gordon Smith hardcore is a thing. Well, it is now. But this is a great band. Let's bring out some comments before we move on.
Would you call it Gordon Smith motherfuckers?
Hey, and my Kepi supplier. How nice. Yeah, this is an American band. They've had 3 singles out on 3 different labels, and they've already got a singles collection. So this is the singles collection that I'm going to show. I'm talking about Amusement. 3 singles. They've had 3 singles out on Council Records, Extinction Burst, and Dirt Cult Records. 6 songs in total. So it's those 3 singles, plus like a bonus song of a cover of Budge by Dinosaur Jr. This band really does fit in with like the Gordon Smith guitar sound. And I'm going to talk about the band members. I think it's a really interesting mix together, and I'm kind of intrigued like how these people decided to do this kind of music in like the modern age, because it's like, let's go through this a little bit. I think it's important. We've got Stan Wright, formerly of Death Threat and Arctic Flowers and Signal Lost. We've got Matt Farrell of the Young Livers and Bothers. We've got John Wilkinson from Ashes Rise and Coldbringer and Pressing On, hardcore band, and John Marcel from Bothers and Prison Suicide. And those 4 guys have come together to make this just amazing, like anthemic. I call it like old school. I don't know if it's really old school, but it's really for fans of. I'm hearing like Doughboys, Leatherface, Seaweed, maybe a little Jawbreaker, a little Peg Boy, a little bit of Iron Chic, a little bit of Roach Squad. Just that amazing, huge.
When did it come out?
Well, the singles came out between 23 and 25, and then this record, like this one came out in last year, 25, on Brassneck Records and Shield Records. And I'm a big fan of the singles collection, so I'm pretty happy to have this one. And just amazing. If you kind of miss that, when melodic hardcore was like really good, it had a kind of little darkness to it, very anthemic, minor key, like Gordon Smith, like minor key punk.
I'm curious about this term. I've never heard someone refer to something as Gordon and Smith tone. Like, really? When I think of GNS, I just think of the skateboard company. So, which is the same name. It's Gordon and Smith.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, I've heard of the guitar company, but I've like, when you mention all the bands, I get it. It's just like that super drenched, almost jazz chorusy kind of guitar tone. You know, like that's, and it's super thick sounding.
Yes.
I
mean, you know, like Dickie Hammond is probably, you know, the main guy that you would think of when you're talking about Gordon Smith. But you know, Snuff used them. I think I don't think this band uses them, but they kind of. I don't know what guitar they use, but,
I love that you cut that's the I don't even know if it's a term. I'm definitely going to use it at some point now. Because I have some friends who love that stuff. And I'm going to be like, oh yeah, it's like a Gordon.
It's Gordon Smith hardcore.
And I'm just going to drop it, and they're not going to know what I'm talking about, and I'll get like extra points. I'll be like, yeah, this dude from Japan told me about that. And it's just like,
I think it's a thing. I think it's a thing. Well, it is a thing now. It's been decided here in real time, but I think it is a really distinct guitar tone, and I think bands. And we were talking about, like, because Daniel from Sorry State Records went to the factory and he saw how the guitars were made, and like it was a very artisanal process, and you know, very woodsy and artsy, and like just you know, beautiful guitars with a beautiful tone. And you know, if anyone knows if Amusement used Gordon Smith guitars, let us know. I don't know. Sounds like they do, and they fit in with that whole like sound. And I'm assuming the name Amusement comes from the Husker Du song, I guess.
Yeah. Which would be kind of the ground zero for that guitar tone.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Yes. Hey, Rachel, let's bring this comment up and let's do a bit of promotion for the Gaza comps that Rachel's been tirelessly working on for the last.
I love you.
There we go. Hi, Rachel. Yeah, that's my first pick. Check it out. You can probably still get the original singles because they're out there. But if you're a singles comp fan like me, this is the one you want to be looking at. There you go. That's my first pick. Courtesy of sponsored by Gordon Smith Guitars. All right, Anne, what you got? What's your first pick?
Well, okay, so I'm doing something a little unorthodox, but I have seen in the past that some other people have chosen a cassette. So I am not really doing anything terrible, right? By doing a tape. But I've never done a cassette before. So anyway, my first pick is a cassette, and it is a very newish thing. Maybe in front of the green screen, which isn't really, it's just my green wall. So this is a tape, and it is a demo cassette by a band called Commitment, and they are from Philadelphia. Okay, I never do this right. There, I'm doing it right.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, Commitment from Philadelphia, newish band, and they do have a record coming out in April on Get Better Records. This tape is released by SRA Records. So let me tell you a little about Commitment. So the first thing that like everyone's talking about is that the drummer of Commitment is the singer of Soul Glow.
Wow. Okay.
So this is like a separate little thing. And the singer of this band, so Commitment is a 6-song demo, and like I said, they have a full-length album coming out soon. And the interesting thing is that the singer of the band is like the singer of like a dream pop group. Not even know if it's a group or if it's just like a solo project called La Siren. And it's total dream pop vocals, like pretty, like nice, like you know, like whatever, you know what dream pop is, you know. But this is ferocious, face peeled off woman singer, but filtered through this woman who normally does. Well, actually, I don't know if I should say woman. I'm sorry, because I don't know what their gender identity is. So let me backtrack. Person who sings for this band. This like dream pop person singing for like hardcore kind of band that peels your face off and melts your brain.
Grindcore vocals kind of thing, or?
Yes, but the interesting thing is it's not quite the same as your typical grindcore, because I can totally understand all the lyrics.
Okay.
So I hear all the words and I was like, I know what they're saying. So I don't know if it's like because like it's like not a traditional, like the background of the singer isn't in that tradition. It's awesome, so awesome, love it like crazy. But it is like, you know, it's sort of a different kind of like space, but it is definitely like a melt your face, melt your brain kind of band. And let me see what I did write some other little notes. They're actually touring like pretty soon, like in the next month or two, with the Here's Collective. And they are, the songs are really short. I wrote this down. The lyrics, I mean, the longest song is a minute and 41 seconds. It's perfect for me. I love short songs. But it's really great. They have a great presence. If you watch like any of the stuff that's recorded that's out on YouTube, like great presence, like yeah. And I love Soul Glow, and I'm excited to see Pierce, the drummer, doing something else, and it's just really cool. And check them out, and they're probably gonna be popular, I think.
Wow, they will be now, after that glowing endorsement.
So my first tape ever that I've talked about on the show.
Beautiful. Hey, could be a potential theme here: amusement, commitment. Jeffrey, any mints?
Anything with you, or at least just a.
Yeah, no. Let
no
me look.
mints. No mints. I didn't expect.
The pressure's on and it's off. All right. Want me to go with my number one today?
Right.
Okay. So my first one is the Molotovs. So this is this record came out like 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
Maybe it's brand new. Funny enough, it's actually on Marshall Records, like the amp. But I'm not going to give Marshall extra props. They already do fine on their own. But this record is fantastic. So the deal with this band, I stumbled across these two kids, and I say they're kids because the singer, this fella, what's his name again? I wrote it down. Oh yeah, Matthew and Iz Cartilage, I think is how they is their names. They're a brother and sister. They're from London, like London, England, and they started out just kind of like playing music on the street, and they just looked super cool. They just looked like these little mod kids, like with their perfect little outfits and all the things. And I'm just such a sucker for that. So it was just such an easy sell for me. And he's 17, and his sister is, maybe she just turned 19. Like they're really young.
Wow.
And they're blowing up right now, like proper blowing up. So I didn't actually, this is the first time in a long time where a band, probably the last time was maybe like when you saw the Hives blow up, or when the White Stripes blew up, where there was like bands that were like kind of within my realm of sort of rock and roll world, that I'm like, oh, you guys are going to cross over into the mainstream and you're going to get big. Like I haven't seen a band that I was sort of following as they were putting out singles all of a sudden make the jump. And it all happened in like the last week.
Wow.
I think it's the third biggest selling record in England.
Wow.
Like they're third in the charts. It's
really
like this just happened. So it's so exciting to watch this, because when I discovered them, it was on YouTube, just playing, posting them, because they're kids, so that's how they learned how to do it. We're gonna put up a post of us basically playing like 60s covers. Wow. They would just be on the street playing like Small Faces tunes and The Who and just stuff like that. And so I'm assuming that their parents probably had a record collection that they dove into and how they discovered. But at 17, their parents are actually my age or our age. So it's like, it's not even that. So I don't even know how these guys found this. So it's so wild. They sound like the Jam, straight up.
Oh,
he sounds like Paul Weller. Like there isn't and they've been getting some hate because of that, because it's so on.
Okay.
But I don't quite understand that. Like, how many of those mod revival bands just basically tried to sound like the Jam anyway in 1980?
Right. Yeah.
And then this band comes out like 50 years later, and they just are nailing it. Like, so much so though, there are points where you're just like, it's almost like they really curated this record. Like it's got, but it's very, very good.
There is something to be said for bands who like have a specific vision that they're going for, and they just pursue it, and they do it really well.
And yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I love it when a band just really like. There's something to be said about a band that just sort of like lets loose and lets it organically happen. You know, like the jam space where you're like, we're just going to be what we're going to be. And yeah, there's something to be said about that. But there's also, if you have a vision and you're just like, I want to do this and I want to do it well, and it translates, who cares? Like that, both of them, if the end result is a great record, then it's a success as far as I'm concerned. So anyways, there's a good chance that you're going to hear more about this band, because
right, I'm definitely going to check this out. Jeffrey, this story reminds me of another duo from Scotland who are sisters who are also super young, the Chords.
Oh yeah,
they're kind of blowing up too. I don't know, maybe not quite to the extent of that, but I think they've already been on tour with the Charlatans, and they're getting pretty popular, and they're doing like total C86, like jangle pop, but absolutely doing it like perfectly.
So good. Yeah, it's a similar kind of story. Like, yeah, like this band, they just played with they actually opened for the Sex Pistols. Like those shows that are happening right now, however that works and stuff. But they're like, they went from being like this little band 6 months ago, and that the first single came out, and I ordered it because I saw that it was, and then I got it, and it was just like, it was so wild you know, when you see the momentum of a band happen. And it's I hadn't really sort of seen a band have that happen that I was engaged in for 20 years, you know, and it blew up, and it's just so exciting for them, you know.
It's pretty cool, you know, that a young band like playing this kind of music can, you know, get some big traction in the modern age. It's pretty refreshing, right? It's pretty.
I think so too, because it's like the footage of them playing shows is just like, I'm glad that it's just not a bunch of old people there who are just like going, oh, I love the jam. And, you know, and then they go there and then they want some kind of like some retro experience. It's actually full, like there's a whole movement of like a young scene of all the people who are there engaging this kind of stuff. So it's exciting because it suggests that we might be on the cusp of another one of those sort of rock and roll revivals with a different generation. Because I mean, like, we're kind of old enough that like, you sometimes can miss it, because even if you're going to lots of shows, it's really easy not to know what someone who's 18 is doing, because why would you know? You know, there's a really good reason why old people shouldn't hang out with young people right now. Shockingly problematic in geopolitical terms. So for that reason, I'll just go hang out with old people, but I'm still going to like this band.
I'm excited to check that one out, and I can't wait to check that one out. It sounds amazing.
Yeah,
that's a great pick. Beautiful. All right, Jay, what's your first pick? What you got?
Well, I would say, you know, I've been shuffling around my picks a lot, right up to now. But
nice,
because we landed on Scotland. I wanted to show off this Rosillo's 7-inch of Destination.
Yay!
One of my all-time favorites.
Yes.
I think it may be the top Rosillo's song. And it always bothered me that it wasn't on the LP. Because the LP has almost everything. And then like the like last best song that they did is this like weird outlier. And you know, and it's not like anyone's like really repressed it or anything like that. Like if you get the CD version of the LP, it's on there. But you know, it's kind of a hard record to get in the US because nobody keeps it really in print here. So I just like my one of my themes for some of my records tonight are like records that I spent a long time pursuing, and I finally got this one because I'm a huge Rosillo's fan, and I also dabble into the Rovillo's years. So that I found this, I got my favorite Rovillo's single, which is
Scuba is a hit.
Yeah.
Nice.
which is another one where I'm like, why wasn't this on an LP? So I feel like if
you're not on one of the singles collections, it's on that comp with her that when it looks almost like a Cramps record, right? It's on that one.
I think that's an alternate version, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some like alternate versions out there, but it's hard to find like anywhere that has that version, and that version is better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, I know. There's some compilations that have like a Japanese language version or like a live version and all kinds of kind of oddball stuff. But yeah, the quintessential single version is the best as far as I'm concerned.
If my friend Tony is actually still listening, I saw he typed in, Tony, type in, say more. He's like an expert, like 100%, 1,000,000% expert on all versions of everything of Revillos. Tony, say something. But yay, I love both of those records. I love, I talked about Revillos once before.
You actually got me into the Revillos because I was like,
you were thinking like they were like the lesser version, but
yeah, I'm of the. There's not as many of me out though. Well, actually, there's only one of me because but if there was versions of me that weren't me that were out there that are going to say what I'm going to say right now, that's what we're talking about. I like the Revillos more than the Rosillos.
Okay,
and I love the Rosillos, but there's something about the campiness and ridiculousness of the Revillos is so perfect for my brain. So and it's just like I find that like especially now like I go to Revillos records and they're like go-tos for DJing because they're and like Scuba with that crazy drum and it's so overblown. Like when they mastered it, it's just like it's almost you can't even play it because it blows the speakers. It's the best,
and it just comes firing right in with the keyboard coming in like da 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 da. Like
it's so amazing. I played a show with the Rosillos a couple years ago, and you know how you have like those starstruck moments. I didn't know that I was going to be that starstruck when I saw PT. I was like because we're just hanging out, and they were like so nice, and it was so pleasant, and it wasn't even. It was like it was in Vancouver, so and I'm like, oh, and I instantly was just like, this is so exciting. I've been a fan of, like I totally was like such an instant spaz. And it's just like, so I don't, like most cool points were lost very early in that conversation. But it was like, it was so exciting they were great. It was, like there was still a lot of fun live. So.
Yeah, I saw them a few years back when they came through. They played the Wonder Bar in Asbury Park, and they were incredible. I felt upset with the people around me for not packing the place out as much as they could have. But yeah, they were just absolutely incredible. And when it comes to like Rosillos versus Revillos kind of thing, I look at it. It really does form a continuum. Like the Revillos put out actually a lot more material than the Rosillos did. The Rosillos had the one LP and the handful of singles, and that was it. And then, the Revillos went on and recorded several albums and just a ton of tangential material. But it really does form, I think, a continuum. Like you can look at the first Revillos LP as the second Rosillos LP pretty easily, which is why I'm like, they should probably just play both songs live.
That's what I'm like wishing. Like I have seen Rosillos a bunch of times now, but I've still never seen Revillos. And I'm like, please just come and do Revillos songs.
With the Revettes on the side of the stage.
And I need to hear Man Attack. It's like my favorite Revillos song. And I mean, it's just. And Rosillos were great, and like when they first came back, every show they played like in the area, like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I went to I saw them in Philly, and I saw them in New York, and I saw them at Maxwell. No, not did they play at Maxwell's? I think I did see them at Maxwell's. Anyway, they played with the Briefs. It was like the greatest show ever. But I'm still chasing Ravillo's live.
No.
Hasn't happened for me yet.
What a cool first round. That's going to be a hard one to top. We've got 4 more to go. Let's see how we do. Okay, I'm going to go to Finland for my next pick. I don't know if any of you guys have heard the Plastic Tones from Finland. That
played a show with the Plastic Tones.
Did you? Well,
yeah, because Fashionism did a tour of Finland, like and they're amazing.
Yes. So
yeah.
I love the.
I
love the Plastic Tones, and I love a band called Modem. And the Plastic Tones and Modem have something in common, and that's TT Roto. She's a singer of the Plastic Tones, and then she plays keyboards or synths and sings in Modem. I love both those bands. And I'd noticed when I was kind of looking up Plastic Tones, she's involved with another band from Finland. So I've had it in the back of my mind to kind of, if I see one of these records, I'm going to buy it as soon as I see it. And just this week it happened. So I'm going to talk about this record that she's in. She kind of isn't a main member of this band. She just plays keyboards and does backing vocals. But let's look at the record. It's an amazing looking record. I think we should take a second to sort of admire the visual aspect of this record.
Wow. Yes.
Here he is. Awesome. Okay, the name of the band is Kissa. The name of the record is Apinalinna. And in English, it's The Cat Monkey Castle. The Cat is the name of the band, and Monkey Castle is the name of the record. I think it sounds better in Finnish, but so yeah, this is a project of this guy right here, Gunta Kivioja. We've got to look at the back too, because there's more than one person in this band. We've got to look at the other members, so let's have a little look. There's TT up there from Plastic Tones in the left-hand corner. No, I don't know. There's this
what
guy.
What does this record sound like? It's amazing.
And then there he is again. There he is again.
Oh, the mustache.
Mustache, and then like kind of like, I don't know what you would call this hairstyle. And this guy's pretty cool too. And then there's one more. Oh, there's this. Don't forget this lad at in the corner.
Oh.
Amazing. I mean, just visually, you want to keep this record just for the visuals. But came out in 2023. It's their second album. And the promo sticker is all in Finnish. But there's a few words that are written in English. And I'll tell you what those words are. Those words are Bloister Cult, Big Star, Elton John, and 1979. That's kind of all I can understand from like the hype sticker here. But basically, this guy, because I think he's like the main guy, this guy right here, is the brainchild of this band, and it's pretty much anything and everything that you love from the 70s, all thrown into this like beautiful pot of 70s-ness. So you've got punk, glam, hard rock, power pop. There's a ballad on here that's like a kind of like an Elton John ballad. Some like pub rock and roll R&B, some T-Rex boogie, and it's all done like to perfection. Like every song could have been a hit single in 1979. It's a super fun record. I mean, as you can probably guess just by looking at the record, it's just a party record. I've just been having a big smile on my face all week listening to this. It's a top-notch recommendation if you like fun records that are just completely everything great about the 70s.
And Svart put it out? Is that who put it out?
Yes, Svart put it out. They've got another album out after this, which I haven't heard. I've only got this one, but man, what a great...
man, I'm all in with this record.
This is, I mean, honestly, I was just like, I was grinning like ear to ear, and I kind of had to look up this guy, Gunta, and he's been in a ton of bands, but one like really caught my eye. He's in this band called Violent Spirit. And Violent Spirit are like an insanely ferocious hardcore band that play like Japanese style hardcore. So I think this guy is like a master of like any kind of thing that he kind of puts his hand to, and so full respect to him.
I do feel like, I'd be interested in like seeing the hardcore band and stuff like that, because the clothes, the makeup, that's one thing, but like they've done some stuff to their hair that's like a commitment. If they're going to do other bands and they've all got this stuff going on,
this stuff, I don't know, is a little bit of like sort of 80s Japanese like visual kei going on here.
Yeah.
But not quite. There's some definite Finnish quirkiness going on here that maybe the lyrics are funny. I don't know.
So like what I'm saying is when they're all together, like it makes sense, but imagine it they're doing other bands and they're the only one in the band that is rocking that hairstyle.
I think he doesn't look like this when he's in any of his other bands, but like I don't know. It would be good if he was, but it's so funny actually because like I was literally, this is kind of a bit of an aside, but I teach English at school right in Japan, and Finland for some reason Finland is in one of the textbooks, so the kids have to learn about Finland, and of course it's like Moomins and the Aurora and the saunas. So I made them eat salmiakki. I don't know if you know what salmiakki is, but it's it's licorice candy and it tastes disgusting. But I decided to like make my teenage students eat salmiakki in class to teach them a little bit about Finnish culture. Maybe next week I'll bring in this record to teach them some real Finnish culture. It's not only Moomins and Santa and sauna in Finland, you know. Great record.
The sauna thing is fascinating in Finland, though. I had no idea how, because you know when you think you play a show and after the show you're going to do whatever. Every night after the show, we went to a sauna. All the venues had saunas, and that was just part of the deal. Like where there would be, that was just this normal part of the evening. The evening cap was for a late night sauna, and I'm like, which is like, and that's just what they do. It was like it was. I guess it was great.
Hail to Finland.
Yeah.
Hail to Kissa.
I also think that we should be keeping a tally of how many people on the records that come up tonight that Jeffrey's played with, because
no, that was just what are the chances that happened twice in a row? Like that's you know.
Well, there's a long way to go yet.
Yeah.
Now I've set myself up for failure. Thanks, Jay. Oh, this was supposed to be a pleasant thing. Didn't we already sort of determine that our friendship was
Remember
got even lighter now?
Yeah.
Didn't we say there might be some light, you know,
welterweight
kind of like
All right, Anne, what's your
okay, my number 2 is a band from Scotland. So continuing on with the Scotland band. And it is also maybe the first time I'm debuting a 10-inch record.
Nice.
The much maligned 10-inch record
I hate them
on the show. And it is Long Leg. Okay, I never do this right. I'm doing it right. Yay! Okay, this is Long Leg, and this is a 10-inch. And this record is amazing. If you're not familiar with this band or this record, it came out in 1997. It's on Kill Rock Stars, and it's a collection of like 2 7-inches. And the reason I picked this thing, besides like I love this record so much, it's amazing, but I also didn't want to just pick a 10-inch that had like 3 songs or 2 songs. I wanted like a meaty 10-inch, and this is like a full size. There's, you know, lots of songs on both sides. I can't do this right, but many songs on both sides. So this is like a, you know, all-woman band, and yeah, I knew Rachel would like them. Of course she does. Okay, so great. This is like that time, like late 90s, Kill Rock Stars, like just like I feel like they're a little bit hard to describe. It's almost like they're like garage. They're not garage, but like put garage at the bottom of the list, but maybe like punk, post-punk, indie, pop, garage. Obviously, like I'm gonna have to say, like maybe there's a little Huggy Bear, teeny bit, but they're a little different. But Huggy Bear's in the same like world. Well, Long Leg is an actress from the Richard Kern movies, and this is named after. They named their band after her.
Okay.
So yes, it's an homage to that actress from the Richard Kern films. She's on that. Long Leg is on the cover of like Sonic Youth's album Evil. If you're not familiar with Long Island, the actress. Anyway, this band was together in from the mid '90s to late '90s, and that would be funny. And they actually got back together in about 4 or 5 years ago, and apparently they're playing again and recording a new album. So that's really exciting. So if you like Huggy Bear, if you like Go Sailor, Skin Teen, that's probably, if I had to say one band that they sound most like, it's Skin Teen.
Okay.
Maybe Rondell's a little bit more, a little rougher. Rondell's maybe are a little bit more Sweet. Kleenex, even In the World. If you love Kleenex, you will absolutely love this. And Mambo Taxi. I'm trying to think of other things I wrote down. Pussycat Trash, Voodoo Queens, all of those bands. This is in that world, and I feel hardly anybody knows this band, and I don't know why, because they were just so great. Oh yeah, Rachel's saying they just play with Biz. I call them the Buys. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but that's how I call it. They played with the Buys, who I love. Also, yeah. So check them out. They have a full-length album too that's really good, Made to Minx. Which is awesome too. This is the 2 7-inches together. I don't know how hard it is to find their stuff, but since they're touring now again and recording again, maybe there'll be some reissuing, and maybe people will get to hear more. Oh, and there's a song on that record about Edith Massey, from who's Edie and the Eggs, and from John Waters' Pink Flamingos, and there's a song. The song is about Edie wants eggs, so it's really good. So, yes, that is my recommendation.
Beautiful,
cool. And can I have a question?
Go ahead.
Yes.
I felt like I was in school all of a sudden. I'll just put my hand up.
Raise your hand.
You are a teacher, Mike, so it's only fair. How do you file your 10 inches? I struggle with 10 inches. Because when you told me it was a 10-inch, the first thing I thought is, oh, man, a 10-inch? It's killing me. Not because I'm bummed on the record, but because I struggle with buying 10 inches because I have them in a leper colony in my own collection. So they're over here and they're out of the way.
You'll never own enough to have a whole shelf devoted to.
I have a cubby full.
Okay.
So I don't know how many that ends up being, but whatever. That's about how many I have. But that said, it's there's shit in front of them.
My 10 inches have their own leper colony area.
Yeah, mine too.
But this is so interesting. So the book, what's usually behind me, this gigantic, all the way to the ceiling record thing that I actually had custom built. The guy was a really old guy, and he built it for me. And we could almost not even get it into this room. It was very complicated to get it in here it will never leave this room, but it is on the other side right now. The top shelf, he accidentally made smaller than all the rest of the shelves. And it became the 10-inch shelf.
I don't think
literally
that was on
the
purpose.
10-inch shelf. And it's the whole, so that shelf is probably 3 feet long. So I have 3 feet worth of 10 inches that fill that shelf.
Cool.
Oh,
and
man,
it was just a bizarre happy land for my 10 inches.
For people who hate 10 inches, I've got something that will make you hate them even more. I got it. It's going to be a future pick of mine, actually. It's a 10-inch, but it's in an oversized sleeve.
Oh, fuck.
Let's move on.
This is supposed to, I haven't even, he's already starting to get cold, and I'm already getting indigestion because of this. This is so frustrating.
And Rachel has an isolation cubby for the 10 inches, and Tony has 2 shelves of 10 inches. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I don't hate them like a lot of people, but I do understand the hatred. I get it.
No, hate's a really tough word. I really don't hate them. I'd like to not use. You know what? Could you please edit out the hate? from this. If you could, I'm going to say a bunch of problematic stuff throughout the evening. So if you could just filter that through, that would be fantastic, so that I don't get canceled at some point.
There was a great story on like there's like an interview tacked on to like some CD reissues of the early Stiff Little Fingers records, and when they were getting started, apparently they were like, well, we could just see it coming that, you know, we're an Irish band in the late 70s, somebody's going to try and put out a shamrock shaped vinyl and this, that, and the other thing. And they were like, so it's, you have to hear it in Jake Burns's voice because it's just so musical the way he says it. He's like, we had it written into our contract that in the case of the single, 7 inches black and round, and in the case of an album, 12 inches black and round.
Wow. I literally thought Jake Burns had joined us in the chat. Nice. All right.
Amazing.
All right, Jeffrey, what's it?
All right, go ahead. Or go ahead. You said go ahead. I was just saying go ahead in my head.
Go ahead. Go ahead in your head. Go ahead.
Okay. You know how when you're working on, you know, when you have like an inner monologue, but then you're not always sure if your inner monologue or your outer monologues or if it's happening. It's not called outer monologue. That's just talking. But your inner monologue is then outside of your head, and then it's just talking. But sometimes that doesn't go like right.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So this one's pretty fun. Okay. Ooh. Hilly Michaels. So there we go. So this is a fan. Are you familiar with this record?
No, I just like the look of it.
Okay, so I kind of mix it up with new records and some older records for this one. So this one's really fun. The album's called Calling All Girls. Came out in 1980, and it's so good. It kills me. I guess I was listening to it. He passed away in the past year, and so I guess I didn't actually have the LP for a long time. There's like a single with the same cover, and so it was always like a go-to DJ single for the longest time. And then I came across the LP finally. So and it's so much better than I could have expected. His sort of claim to fame, he was like a studio drummer from New York through the late 70s, and he played with Sparks for a bit, and I believe he was like he's like the drummer on the Big Beat album. Okay. So that was like a pretty big record for them. So he was touring around quite a bit during that late 70s period when they were doing stuff. So that's probably like for anybody who's sort of like familiar with him, you might know him through his connection to Sparks. And then he played on like quite a few big records. I think he played with like Elton John and stuff like that. So he was like a studio guy. Put out 2 solo records. One was in 80. I think the other one came out in 81 or 82. The second one's more of like an AOR kind of record, but this one is like, it's like theatrical power pop. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's so good. It's like, you know, those power pop records that are like, they came out right at that peak period where they had just enough punk in them to make them sort of, they didn't feel like it was like chilling out in the 70s. Where it had that sort of AM radio feel. And I do like a lot of that 70s power pop, but for very different reasons. But this record has like the urgency of a punk record, but it's got like all the hooks, and you can hear the Sparks influence in it, like the theatrics. And what blows my mind about this record is I imagine, and I don't know if this is true, I just like that this is how this went down. He's created, you know, when you listen to like a Monty Python skit and the different, and they choose like the different characters while they're talking, and then when you listen to the songs, they almost create these characters to sing each one of the songs. I'm convinced that he like created a series of characters to do the backups because he's got like his main voice, and then the backups come in, and it's like a series of people who seem to reoccur doing the backups, and the backups have a real kind of throwback to sort of like a doo-wop 50s kind of thing, where it's like where they're almost unusually out of place, you know, when like, and there's crazy, like, you know, those drum fills that go do, 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 do. And then they mix it across the spectrum of sound, but it's like it's shockingly loud, where it's just like somebody was just like, you know, like it's like just turn it up to 12, you know, like, and it's like it just distorts when you listen into it. And anyways, this record is so good, it kills me. And it's been getting like, I mean, like, I have lots of records. So like when records get themselves into a happy place where where you can't let them get out of that sort of new arrival section, you keep going back to them. I'm like, so I decided I'd share that one today because
let's have one more look at it. Just show it again. I want to see it.
Yeah. And it's, and the back cover though is great because there's the phone again, like the, like, it's just like so, and he's like sitting on a lawn chair, and it's like the fake grass and stuff. It's such a 80s moment.
Yeah, it appealed to me as soon as I saw it. I was like, yes, I love it.
And the hair is just so dumb and perfect, and it's sort of it is pretty early too to have like that kind of like
kind
LA,
of like an Ian Hunter kind of a look, a
little bit of an Ian Hunter. I mean, like, it makes sense that if he was coming out of the 70s and all those people had like the you know, the folks who like, they're like, well, we're not going to quite cut our hair because we're still kind of into they got their shag and their glammy kind of vibe, and they're not quite ready to commit to like the punk thing. So they kind of allowed themselves to get that sort of poof sort of going. And I find that the bands that like sort of went decide that we're going to stick it out, those records are usually pretty good. They definitely got written off by all the new wavers and stuff at the time because their hair was too long and it was a little bit too weird. But I mean, like, it's 2026. We don't have to care about that stuff now. So now we'll just listen to records out of context and just like love them for what they are, right?
Well, it's funny because ironically, my favorite Ian Hunter record is Short Back and Sides.
Oh, right.
Nice. All right, I think my next pick is gonna kind of tie in with that. Let's see.
All right. You know, Jeff, you established so much lore with that he was working with characters and stuff like that. My immediate thought is that the guy on the front cover is actually calling the guy on the back cover.
Oh my God! Right? Oh, that'd be true.
All right, so this is another one that I feel like I was listening to for probably a few decades, honestly, and but only ever digitally, and I could never track down the record until it just fell into my lap. Actually, a friend of mine was dealing records at a record show. Anne was there, actually. This was right at the Asbury Punk Rock Flea Market.
Park?
Yeah. And
that's the last time I saw you.
Yeah. And this also dovetails American instead of Scottish or any of the other countries we've been visiting tonight. But I do also think that this guy has, for an American, a bit of Paul Weller quality about his voice. And this is Raining Sound, Time Bomb High School.
That album rules.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is just like, it's like very much American garage rock, you know, with soaked in organ, you know, guitar over organ is like such a beautiful sound to me at all times. But I do think that while it does sound very much of the Midwestern United States, that it does reference kind of, you know, a lot of, you know, British pop and mod stuff and kind of, you know, more worldwide garage sounds. And it's just such a cool record. It's like, this just sounds like such a dopey way of putting it, but it's like, if you're looking for a good time listening to rock and roll, like this is a record for you. Like,
it's so good. That record's so good. I love that record. And the one right after, I think, is it Too Many Guitars? The one that came up. Yeah.
Or too
I mean,
much
like, they had a whole string of records that were so strong, and it's like, that's a fair way of describing it, though. It is just like a great feel good rock and roll record, and it's just like.
I first my buddy Joe, who I used to tour with a lot. He was the one that really put me on to Raining Sound. So they were on in the van a lot, and it just kind of soaked into me, and I was like, oh man, I got to get that record. And it, you know, it's not like it was on a very tiny label. It was on In the Red, but it just became difficult to find on vinyl. So until it fell right in my lap a couple months ago,
nice.
I had always been just like keeping half an eye out for it, and I'm really glad to have it now. And it's like, I probably hadn't even listened to it that much in recent years, but you know the phenomenon where you finally find something and it just kind of reignites your your love of the record. And that's definitely what this record was like for me. And yeah, like when I say he has kind of a Paul Weller thing going on, it's like he has. If you never heard the singer, his name's Greg Cartwright.
Okay.
As my friends and I like to call him Cardi G. But yeah, he's got that kind of like husky, like it's a long, long way, but it drags me down kind of thing, and it's.
You can do Jake Burns. You can do Paul.
No.
Who's you going to do next? That's a band I've known about for a long time. I've never listened to them. I've never checked them out, but it sounds amazing. I should.
If you've been looking for a sign to pull the trigger on them, then let this be it. And I would definitely say start with this one.
Okay.
This is the one.
Cool. All right. I don't know why. I mean, I haven't got the best memory in the world. I forget things very easily. But for some reason, I have really vivid memories of certain songs that were on the radio when I was a preteen and a teen. So we're going back to like 70s. Let's say like 77 to 80. The radio would be on in the car, driving around at the radio. The radio was on all the time in the house, back then. And there were certain songs, even at like 10 years old, I was like, yeah, this song doesn't sound like all the other stuff that's being played on the radio. So I'll just name a few, and then I'll get to my pick. And probably everyone's going to be familiar with these songs. They could be favorites of yours too. But, Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights was one that was like, wow, what's this? I was probably 10 when that came out. Andrew Gold, Never Let Her Slip Away, I thought was just this incredibly beautiful song. I think that was like 77, 78. And I remember just thinking, this is beautiful, in like 77, 78. Ian Dury and the Blockheads, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, was like, what the hell is this? My dad liked it too. And he liked kind of funk and soul. He loved that song. And he would like, when that came around, he would turn up the radio. Stranglers.
They were not playing any of these songs in the US on the radio.
Yeah, we'll come back to the UK. We're called Radio 1, which is daytime Radio 1. This is the stuff they were playing on the radio, those back then. Stranglers, Peaches. My dad, I did not know what that song was about. I was an innocent 10-year-old. Of course, and my dad was singing along to it in the car, blah, blah, blah. And then Squeeze, Take Me, I'm Yours, and Call for Cats, I thought were just like really intriguing. Lena Lovitch, Lucky Number.
Yeah.
Elvis Costello, Oliver's Army. I could go on and on with this, but the song is off this album I'm going to talk about. Canadian band. I thought this song was like super quirky, didn't quite understand it. I'm going to tell you the first line of the song, and you'll probably guess what I'm talking about. I know it's out of fashion and a trifle uncool is like the first line of the song that leads off this album.
Echo Beach.
Echo Beach by Martha and the Muffins.
Martha and the Muffins.
So I had not thought about this band in decades, and I was in the record store and I saw it. It's like, man, Echo Beach. I probably didn't even know they had an album out. It was just that one song. I thought they were a one hit. Well, they were a one hit wonder, in that world. But man, I was like, I'm gonna buy this record. I was not expecting it to be this good. It's incredible.
Yeah. They have four.
They have more albums. Yeah.
I'm just finding this out, and from just my brief, looking around, this is the Ice Age is supposed to be a really interesting one. The third album, I think it is, right? I'm not sure. So yeah, I mean, they always get compared to X-Ray Specs because they have a saxophone player. They get compared to Blondie. No, they don't sound like either of those bands. It's very, sorry, there they go. It's just really intelligent, like power pop, which obviously has got that punk edge, and the keyboards are amazing, like these kind of warbly keyboards, which is and the guitar tone on this record is phenomenal. It's not a GS. I don't know what it is, but man, that clean guitar tone that drives this record, that opening riff to Echo Beach is fucking amazing.
It's so great. Like that song was played on the station that I listened to as a teen in Long Island. Well, I grew up in Queens, but WLIR, they played Echo Beach and they played Dance Park by Martha and the Muffins. Both of those songs.
Oh yeah.
And like that, like just like pervaded my life. Like I was like, that's, I had like, that's my favorite song, you know, for like 3 weeks. So like Echo Beach was my favorite song for like 3 weeks when it came out, or however long. But like the records, those records were hard to find here back then. Now it's pretty easy to find them. So like if anybody is trying to find them, you can
It
usually
came out
find
on a
them
label
for pretty.
called Bin Disc, right? Which is apparently it was and Virgin, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
But apparently this was the first release on Din Disc. I don't really know anything about Din Disc.
That was, Din Disc put out a lot of the Revillos stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's so good. The other records are really good too.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I'm in Canada, so it's like those records are everywhere. And Echo Beach still gets played on the radio.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that video is so good. Those girls, they look. I just remember I was like a kid when I saw that video for the first time because it was played on Much Music, and I'm like, oh, they're so cool because it's almost like a B-52s. Like she's got that sort of '60s kind of vibe, and just looks like and because the video is kind of grainy, and it's just got, there's something about it that just makes you go, they just, you know, when a band just looks cool and you don't know anything about them, you just see it for the first time and you just feel, you're like, when a band intimidates you for reasons that you don't even quite understand, probably because I was like a little kid. But that said, that song's like sort of been in the soundtrack of our world, my world forever. Like
I remember like sort of sitting on the football field in England in the summer with a little transistor radio, and that song would come on. If we were lucky, we'd get to hear that song in our lunch break. Like that chorus, it's like so like quirky and like herky jerky. My job is very boring, like I'm an office clerk. That just seemed like so fascinating to like, I was like 13 at the time, so just really different and amazing. And I'm just wondering like if there's a lot of people out there like me who can only know that song and never checked out the album and the albums, because if you're like me, rectify that quite quickly. This is an amazing album.
And they later like changed the name to just M+M.
Okay. Classic. It's an absolute fucking classic, and it's probably in your. I mean, I don't know these days. Who knows? But I'm assuming it's not an expensive record to.
No, it's a very easy.
Yeah, easy to find.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one that totally missed me, but from all the stuff that you're saying about it, it sounds like it might be up my alley.
I think so. Yeah.
I had to check the Revillos record that I saw. So on the label it says Virgin, but actually on the back of the picture sleeve, there's actually, it's really small, but there's a
Din Disc. Okay.
Neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I want to look at mine and see what it is.
But I don't know where it is. It's somewhere upstairs.
Oh God, it's up there somewhere. But it's like,
I mean, like,
I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'll get over it.
Mark from the Muffins. I didn't say the name of the album, Mike, because I just thought it was going to be called. It's called Metro Music. It's the name of the album, not Echo Beach. Okay, let's just get that in there. All right, Anne, what's your next?
All right, very good. Okay, my next one. I'm surprised that nobody talked about this one like in the last year, and hopefully maybe I didn't make a mistake, and somebody did, because I have done that before. But anyway, this is from last year, 2025, and it's Wesley and the Boys. Anybody know these guys?
No.
They are from Nashville. This is on Sweet Time Records, which puts out lots of really great stuff, like right now, like all this time. And so it's like Wesley and the Boys, but like one of the boys is not a boy here. But so you were, Jay, you were saying like you wanted like a really just good like rock and roll, like punk, garage, punk. Let's call it like punk rock and roll kind of record. This is definitely that kind of record. They're from Nashville. The name of the album is Rock and Roll Ruined My Life. They are like punk rock and roll, garage, fuzzy, bassy. There's like maybe a little teeny bit of Oblivions, kind of a Greg Cartwright mention here. Maybe a teeny little bit, maybe a little Black Lips. The fuzziness, maybe even like the few times when the Black Keys are like maybe at their pinnacle of actually being good, which like I'm not really a Black Keys guy, but you know, occasionally I hear something by them and I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of good, like that fuzz thing that they do sometimes. So that's in there. Oh, I wrote something down. This is what I wrote. Goner Records meets Ripoff Records.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a good description.
That's a good description. Now I have an image of what that might sound.
That's what you're going to find in here. Plus, something that I love and I always talk about every time I'm on here, a teeny tiny little bit of egg punk. Little teeny bit.
A little egg, a little quail's egg.
Occasionally, the singer gets a little eggy.
Okay.
And I freaking love egg punk. I don't even know how to describe it, but I talk about it every time I'm on. Sometimes it's called Devo core.
Yeah. Influenced by Devo, right?
What else? I don't even know how else to say. You're gonna have to look up egg punk.
Is that what that means?
It means it. Once you hear it, then you understand what it means, but it's a little bit hard to explain.
This could be completely off base, but when people started throwing around the term, like where my brain processed it was like, oh, it's punk for eggheads. Like
I don't know.
Not the band Egghead necessarily, but like
no.
Basically Devo fans. Like
but it's more. I don't really even feel like egg punk is really that Devo-y. That's the thing that like it's always like kind of like, oh, it's like in the 70s when it's like Devo, like when like anybody who was like weird was called Devo, like during that time after Devo happened. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
I feel like it doesn't always sound like Devo, but you can tell that
just a quirkiness, right?
Like it all, there's like a lightning rod that gets all egg punk bands back to Devo eventually, maybe. But this is not. This does occasionally have a little teeny bit of that eggy. It's like there's it also has it also has some synth in it, and maybe that's why, because there's a little bit of synth, in it. I think. Did I write that down? I try to write notes. If you like the Spits, also, it's
okay.
Like I said, Goner meets Ripoff Records. It's really, really, really good. That was like one of my favorite records that came out in 2025. Sweet Time. If you don't know that label, they put out a lot of great records, tons and tons of really great stuff.
Cool.
I really love it.
Cool.
All
right. Well, I'll follow that. Since you mentioned synths, I'm going to swap my order. The retrospects.
Oh, look at that!
Ooh.
I know, it's pretty good. So the album's called Vapor Waves, and it's on Vintage Voltage, which is just I'm assuming it's Ian McCloy, who was in the White Wires. If you're familiar with them. So this is like his solo project, and he put out another record. I guess it was like this record just came out. It came out just at the very end of the year, because I was chatting with him and he's like, "Oh, I got my record's going to be done." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet, send it to me so I can include it. I wanted to listen to it before the end of the year, and I got it after the end of the year. So here I am sitting today. We're going to love, because it is fantastic. I mean, I really, and it's my only Canadian pick for today. So it's just like, I try and keep my nationalism to a minimum because
Jay and I, neither Jay nor I have picked a New Jersey band yet. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I'm in the clear, because this band's from the other side of the country. So all the people, anyone on the West right now is just going, "Who is this dude? Why is he talking still?" This record's amazing. It's like. This is sort of like his synth pop like project. So it's not punky like the White Wires or like power poppy or whatever, or how you want to describe them. This is fully Ian just like playing, like learning how to play with synths and make a fantastic synth pop album. but it's peppy the way it's not synth poppy, like, you know, when you think of, like, people describe synth pop, and like Madonna can be a synth pop record too, like that, that's it gets described like that as well,
Right.
like just like synth. Yeah, like a lot of things fall underneath the banner of synth pop. So this is like a little bit more, I guess it's a little bit more moody, like the way that you would think of, like, if you were to be like a sort of it's got like Human League qualities to it, but not with the dual singers, more just like that, how it's like sort of a little bit darker, but it's very, very catchy. If you like his songwriting, it's like, imagine like if you were to take a White Wires style pop song and then just strip out the guitars and pretty much fill it in with synths. And then that's kind of would be the easiest way to describe it. But it's a fantastic record, you know. And it's exciting when you hear a record and you like, I've listened to this record probably half a dozen times already. And so I'm just like, I keep going back to it and I haven't filed it yet. So since I've got it, so it's like, there's like the shelf of like, okay, I should probably file this one. And it keeps going into this transitional shelf right now. So it's just
I
like,
know this transitional shelf of which you speak.
oh, they're the worst. I've got like the listening booth shelf, which is like this. It's about, well, I'm not looking at what I'm doing. It's like about that big. So it holds like 10 records. And then behind it is one of those, like, it's like one of these IKEA type things. And it's got two, it's a tall one. So it's got two cubes. And those are the new arrivals. And then that doesn't include records on the floor. We don't want to talk about records on the floor because I'm not supposed to have any records on the floor. Part of the deal with when we moved into this new house was I promised Emily that like one of the things that wasn't going to happen was that I was going to start having floor space happening again. And like, I like to think that I keep my promises, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't kept that promise, because I currently, like, you can't see this, and I'm not going to change the computer screen because that would be strange and kind of awkward. But I'm looking down. If I have to look down and not look at the screen, but I'm looking down right now. Now I'm looking at you. But when I was just looking down a moment ago, right, there's these two milk crates that are like full, that are not supposed to be there. And I'm currently struggling on where they're going to go. And like, because I actually I'm pretty maxed out right now. And you know, when you like decide that, you know, when someone goes away for a trip and you're like, oh yeah, I'll sort that out. And then you end up moving some things around to create space for records. And then you think that you've gotten away with something because essentially all you did was just put shit somewhere else and put records with it. And then somehow you've justified that as like finding place for the records, but you actually haven't found a place for the other stuff. So you just like hiding your keys underneath the bed or something like that. You're like, no one's ever gonna find those beds.
So is this when Emily goes on tour? This is the kinds of stuff.
She was just on tour, and one of the things, I had like a couple projects that were planned, and one of the projects was I was gonna find this place for like this section of records. And somehow it just did it. Like I did find a new space for like this section of records, but in that process, anyways, needless to say, there's some problems happening right now. Not in the relationship, just in the
not yet.
Yeah. I mean, like, she collects records too, so it like, in my defense, you know, like, Emily comes home with records all the time as well. And so like, I like totally will enable things like, oh, would you like me to pick that up for you? Like, sure, I'll just get you a record. So each time that I get her a record, it's like it justifies records on the floor. So it's like, here's this lovely present for you. I'm allowed to get records on the floor because I got you. And then
my way of thinking of it is if they're in milk crates, that's not really on the floor, is it? They're in milk crates.
Yeah, see, like
that is not on the floor.
I want to believe that that's true, and I think that I have convinced myself that's true, but I know that that's not actually true.
It's not
true. No. Like what about a milk crate that has little wheels on it, so you can like that does that
elevated?
That's furniture. If it has wheels on it, it's a furniture item. Okay, in that case, only one of the milk crates on the floor currently is a milk crate. One of them is actually a furniture item.
There you go. Record collector.
But I mean, a milk crate can be the thing that's holding the records. Like over the course of years, as I graduated to better shelving, milk crates were the things holding my records.
Yeah. So I think it's sort of like, so the sales pitch is what you're getting at,
yes.
And is that I should be like, the milk crate is actually us having a new type of retro furniture, a floor-facing retro furniture, because like. I like a good throwback feel. You have people over and they're like, "Oh, I love what you've done with the place. Thanks."
Ooh,
And you're
milk
just like,
crates
"What is
on
that?"
wheels.
Like,
Wow,
"I've got
lovely.
some furniture items over there." It's a milk crate. It is. It's actually, but the milk crate is actually an older milk crate, so it's still in. It's not metric. And oh, that doesn't matter for you guys because you guys have never had metric milk crates. Okay, you're like looking at me like, look at the crazy person. So,
Despite
do milk crates in the
Adam and
States?
his packages best
Do milk
efforts.
crates still fit records in the States?
What?
Do milk crates still fit records in the States?
A regular milk crate?
No.
No.
Okay, so I know that when they switched, the Canadian ones switched when they switched the measurement system. So older milk crates that were still in inches would fit the things, and then they started when everything went metric. All the boxes changed to metric too. So all the records got all the milk crates got a bit smaller, and then they couldn't fit anymore.
Oh
So,
no!
yeah. So I'm not sure when they would have done that in the States. Like, what did they change with milk? Why would they change the size of a milk crate in the States?
Well, there's two sizes of milk crates that I have. One of them is like a square, and it's like 10 inches would fit in it, but a 12-inch wouldn't. And then the other milk crate I have is actually way bigger, and a 12-inch can fit in it, but then there's like all this extra space on the side, so it's like annoying.
We have these ones that were perfect. They were like the perfect record thing, and then they started making them slightly smaller, and now they don't quite fit, and so they can fit in if they go slightly sideways. You can't tell that my hands are sideways, but they are, and they're slightly I'm not going to tell you the degrees, but it's like this much. Well, there,
right. Let's move on from this milk.
Sorry. Yeah,
I did want to say the best boxes I had for records were these things, and they were like advertised. They were one of those like as seen on TV type things where they'd be like, "Oh, this is your storage solution," and they were called Jaffa blocks.
Jaffa blocks.
Those? But they were like the perfect size for records.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, what's your next pick? What you got?
So I do have the ability to keep diving into synth land, but I just do think that it's the right time for my obligatory street punk pick of today, which is the self-titled record by Criminal Damage.
Oh yeah.
Now this record, this is continuing the theme of a record that I heard a long time ago and then didn't manage to grab it on vinyl, and then it became extremely hard to find. And
right, that happened, right? It suddenly happened. It seemed to suddenly happen, right?
Yeah. And then I was staying with my buddy Jesse probably just about a year ago, and he was like, "Hey bud, you said you need those Criminal Damage records, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Here, I got this one for you." I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah." So I think that this record is terrific, and I do feel like we're going through kind of like an Oi renaissance right now, where there are a lot of good bands and stuff like that. And I feel like when Criminal Damage were active, we weren't so much. And
right, I think yes, exactly, yeah.
I feel like there were, and there were still solid bands at the time, but I just don't feel like it had coalesced into like a really good, kind of clutch of bands that would play together and stuff like that. I feel like your average Oi show is still just like kind of some bands that were just playing slow, sludgy, like kind of boring stuff. And Criminal Damage, I feel like it was because it wasn't necessarily who you would expect to be playing street punk.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the singer, was like played drums in I think like Tragedy and like His Hero Is Gone and stuff like that. And the very fact that that it's an Oi record that came out on Feral Ward, like that's like a bit of an oddity. I mean, they did put out some Hardskin records, but like those are kind of ironically Oi. Whereas, Criminal Damage, I think it was like, people that you might associate more with like kind of like crusty stuff. And it's like, no, they must really love Blitz because it's really good at making this music. And I think it's cool because it's fast and it's exciting and it has really cool really cool like single note guitar leads, which is like just the stuff that I eat right up. Like
there's some guitar melodies in there that I can tell were kind of let's not use the word lifted from like certain like Japanese hardcore records. There's some like little very delicate guitar melodies that are taken straight from like Death Side and stuff like that, because those guys loved Japanese hardcore too. And if you heard it, you can hear it in Criminal Damage, which makes it kind of stand out as well.
That's really cool. I'd love to pick your brain about you know what some of those lifts are that you can recognize.
Just little very tiny like melodic like touches on the guitars that are kind of taken from like Death Side and stuff.
Yeah, my favorite song there is the third song on this record called Last Chance, and that just has one of those great little leads. It's like
that's my favorite too.
Yeah, it's such a killer. So, you know, like and ever since, you know, again, it's like ever since I got the record, it's been my excuse to just be listening to it heavy again, and you know, I've been throwing it on at DJ sets, oftentimes with like some of the more contemporary stuff. Like I think the other night I threw it on like back to back with like Syndrome 81, and
nice,
and it fits in really well with the contemporary stuff.
Nice. And
in that way, I feel like as much as the record was a throwback, I feel like it was kind of ahead of its time for like kind of Oi is gonna get good again.
It's a classic. So I call it a modern classic, but it's like 20 years ago or something, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I'm going to change my order because I too have a band with the word boys in it, and it's 2 girls and 2 boys.
Okay.
They're from Portland, Oregon, and once again I'm going to go through the members of the band because I think it's really intriguing and interesting who's in this band. I'm talking about, this is the kind of blind buy purely because of the way the record looks and the labels that it's on. I'm talking about Macho Boys.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Yes, it's
wow,
on
look at that cover.
Neck Chop Records and Sabotage in Europe. So I think I mentioned Dirt Cult Records already because one of the Amusement records was on Dirt Cult Records. This is Chris Mason from Dirt Cult Records and Low Culture and Shangalang. He was in Shangalang too, right? And Joe from Long Knife and Burning Leather, Portland bands. And Samantha Glade from Piss Test, who I think I showed the Piss Test album on this show before. And a woman called Takaya, and this is her first band. This is the first band she's ever sung for. What's that?
How recent is that?
It's 2017, so it's like 9 years old, right? And they have a demo too, which I haven't heard, but I think some of the songs in the demo are on this record. This is a hardcore record, but when I say hardcore, we're going back to like the first wave of American hardcore. This is, you know, it's.
I didn't put it aside for today, but I've been really enjoying Chris's current band, Faulty Cognitions, a lot.
Okay, nice. I haven't heard that band, but yeah, it's just interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by kind of like ex-members and what other bands they've done and how these people kind of came together, blah 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 blah. But yeah, this is a great like hardcore record that kind of sounds like it came out in like 1982, specifically LA. I was surprised their Bandcamp kind of says Minor Threat. This sounds like nothing like Minor Threat. I'm surprised they put that in there. This is like the kind of hardcore that still has like one boot in like 77 punk. So the 2 bands that came to mind, which it's not the perfect comparison, but it's the best I can do, and I think they're better comparisons than Minor Threat, were Sin 34 and Sado Nation. I think this band sounds more like those 2 bands, who both had amazing women singers too.
Yeah,
Mish Bondage from Sado Nation and Julie Andrews from Sin 34. That's the kind of the closest comparison I can think. Just really snotty, high energy, raw hardcore punk, the way it used to be made in America in like 82, 83, and as a bonus, they seem to be into wrestling because there's a song called Stone Cold. Guess who that's about? It's about Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is a nice little extra touch to the greatness of this record.
Oh, it's not about Stone Cold E.T.?
But I'm not. I dabble in wrestling, but I didn't realize that Stone Cold was about him until I kind of looked it up. But and another thing that I really liked, and I kind of read a little interview of this band, and I think it was Takaya, the vocalist. I think they're Two of the members are kind of younger, I think. I'm not sure, but he said like there's a band from Portland called the Stop.
What were they called?
Stop.
Oh yeah, the Stop.
Right, and that album is amazing. I think
It's great.
Someone else has talked about it on the show, and she said that she was inspired to start a hardcore band because of that Stops album, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. Amazing record. It's probably out there in the bins. I don't know, but Dirt Cult Records or Sabotage Records if you're in Europe. Amazing records. The Stops are amazing. Macho Boys are amazing. So if you like that kind of old school, like snotty hardcore, it doesn't sound like Minor Threat. It sounds like Sin-34 or Speedo Nation. All the Stops.
I love all the horrible covers that like many bands have. Like it's a horrible, wonderful cover. Like it's wonderful.
Oh. Okay, Anne disappeared. Let's get her back.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
That's
I have
okay.
no idea. I must
Now
be
the
having
order's
issues.
all changed.
Let's get the squares back in the right squareness. There we go.
Sorry about that.
There we go. No problem. There you go. That's
I have
right.
no idea what happened. But yeah, these like horrible, wonderful covers that
Horrible,
like many,
wonderful.
many bands are
The
like
like, crazy
like
ones.
that Syndrome, that album we're talking about, Jade. That's a horrible, wonderful cover. Or
Oh,
a wonderful, horrible cover.
They're like drawing. What blows my mind is like, you know, all those 80s hardcore records with the terrible drawing. Like somebody who act like, you know how you have your friend who can't really draw, but they're like the best friend of the band, and they're like going to draw your album cover, and they make everyone look punk and tough and stuff, and everybody wishes that they had somebody who could draw like Black Flag covers and stuff, but they don't. They just look like budget terrible covers. It's basically like half of the Mystic releases.
Yeah.
All of the Mystic.
Maybe all of them. Yeah.
All
and
of
they're
them.
just so many bad album covers.
Bad
And then-
but great. Bad but beautiful.
Well, I know, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. And so then if you say you're growing up and you're
I
like,
might actually have been that friend for some bands.
and then you draw
are
them
that friend.
yeah, and now it's just like
It just feels like lately there's a lot of that again.
of
And I
bad
love
covers.
it because it just looks, I mean, like it just looks so crappy, but awesome.
I want to say if Mike Carrasco is in the chat or is watching this, I love your artwork on this album because
I love it too. It's so
no, this is not
bizarre.
a bummer. It's
that
all
this
good.
is like,
it's great. Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a super fan, so I'm not knocking it at all. It's
No,
just
I-
so, it's just so like interesting to me because like, you know what I mean? Like
Well, I
that
mean, I
this
bought it.
is-
I bought it based on that
because
the art
of that cover, right?
and the record label.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like awesomely crazy.
And a weird font too. Like let's just like you know, bad 80s font, like where it's just like you're gonna make the letters look kind of strange and just like this will be great.
Check them out, Macho Boys. Fuck, it's almost like 10 years ago now, right? There we go. All right, Anne.
That sounds really good. I'm not familiar with that at all.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian Walsby.
No, I love Brian Walsby. I'm friends with Brian Walsby.
Hi, Brian. That's not Brian. He's not Brian, but all right.
No, I think Brian Walsby's an amazing artist and a really great guy.
There you go.
So yes. Okay, here's what I'm going to talk about. We're moving on to Japan.
Oh,
Coming over to Tokyo.
my country.
Now I couldn't decide which one. So I'm showing two technically, but
Do it.
let's call them just an extension of sort of like the same thing because they're so very similar
Okay.
that we can just sort of talk about the both. And it is Mama Guitar, which I always go the wrong way. Mama Guitar. Here we are. Oh, I did it right.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, Mama Guitar. Okay, so Introducing is the first album, and then In Mama Guitar Style is the second album, where they do their own songs in their own style, but really not in their own style because it's like literally Mersey beat, like Mersey beat. They love the Beatles, it's not the Beatles, but you know they love that 60s Mersey beat sound, and they're really great. It's a 3-piece. And mostly originals though, despite being like loving to copy the 60s Mersey beat sound. almost all the songs on both albums are originals. They do, of course, they do like "Ain't That Just Like Me" when they're doing like covers. A certain girl, so that kind of stuff. So like where you're headed when you're getting this, but super fun, super great. I didn't write down when the second one came out, but the first one came out in 1999. I don't think they're around anymore. I think they had like 90s into the 2000s, and then they disappeared, or if they're in different bands now. Let's see, what else did I write about this? They toured a lot in Germany, it said, and both of these records were on like German labels.
Are they on Sound Flat by any chance?
No, they're very Sound Flat looking, aren't they?
Right,
yes, I love Sound Flat.
Me too.
But no, it's actually a word I cannot pronounce.
Give it a go.
Yes, it's like fun diverging. Fun diverging.
Got it.
Anyway, that's what both of them are, but on license from Captain Trip Records from Tokyo.
Cool.
They call it Margie Beat instead of Mersey Beat.
Oh, no, that's just like
is that
how you would say it in like phonetic
in their accent.
In katakana, if you wrote that in the Japanese.
Oh, I see. Understand. Okay. So, they're really fun. It's like fun 60s. Like the best thing I could think of is like the Pebbles, if you know them, also Japanese band. Like in like Pebbles and Mama Guitar are like part of the same kind of world and same kind of sound. It's fun, like happy, light, super cool Japanese chicks rocking out. I mean, what more could you want?
Obviously,
it's great.
The beat group thing is its own thing, separate from like surf, but they can be kind of like, would they have been playing with like the 5, 6, 7, 8s and that sort of band?
Yeah, they're not like the 5, 6, 7, 8s are like I would consider like much heavier than these. This band, like 5, 6, 7, 8s, like they like rock. They're like, they're like this, and these guys are kind of like this.
So they, it's like the Tree Berries.
So I don't know the Tree Berries.
The Tree Berries are like the Japanese Beatles, like same timeline. Like they were around right around that same time, and they sound very, very 60s throwback. Feels like sort of like the mod beat groups, like really similar to what you're describing.
But the thing about I mean, but in Japan, all of these different kinds of groups, they all get kind of get put under the garage punk umbrella. So I would not be surprised if Guitar Wolf and Mama Guitar played together. There's an amazing festival in Tokyo called the Halloween Ball. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but it's just like there's so many like garage punk bands of there you go, all the styles from like Mama Guitar, the 50s stuff, the 60s stuff, the 70s garage, and they all play together, and it's all like one huge, like happy, wonderful scene.
Yeah, that's.
I have like as a 6 CD series called Girls Sazanami Beat. It's 6 CDs worth of all girl garage punk bands of like all the different styles. So
from Japan.
From Japan.
That's amazing.
I have them all except
awesome.
I don't know what, like number 4 is impossible to get, and I don't know why. I'm missing number 4 in that series, but yeah.
There's always one volume that's got to be the outlier.
There's got to be like one band that became like super famous or something, and so that everybody that's holding on.
Maybe somebody was like, it doesn't actually exist. They put it out, and they never made a volume 4. They just made volume 5 just so all the collectors lose their mind. That's funny.
Like 6 CDs.
Well, yeah. So Mama Guitar is like the lightest of all the kinds of things. But like I said, the Pebbles, if you know them, they're who also are like very Beatles, inspired and very like they would definitely be like in that same kind of category.
Man, do you remember that label Ben 10? They were like a
I love Ben 10.
Yeah,
Audrey,
right?
Audrey.
Flamenco a Go-Go, like there's tons of all women great American.
And sister records, Ben 10, Bento, That's a compilation that I have.
Yes,
They
yes,
put out a couple of CDs. Ben
Yeah.
Tim Bento Bob.
That's a great compilation.
Yeah. I used to try to order stuff from them. Like I said, I think her name was Audrey. I was like always trying to message, like, can I order something, please? From and it was like they were like, we don't really send to the US. I was like, please, I'll buy one of everything.
Yeah, Japan's amazing for like, it is kind of under the garage punk umbrella, but all of the different styles and facets all in one huge big like happy family. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it's probably hard to find those records, but the second album, in Mama Guitar Style, the whole album is on YouTube. If you were looking for it, you could actually get to hear that whole album.
Beautiful.
Mike, you were talking about that six CD collection record, and that got me thinking. I'm sure probably everybody on here likes the like Ace Records compilations that they do.
Oh yeah.
Like I love the stuff that they do that just like collects like one country's output of like kind of garage rock and surfy like kind of 60s stuff from just different countries and what their spin on it was, and a lot of bands that only did like one single and were done and stuff like that. I think those all those compilations are like, if I see one of those in the wild, I'll just buy it blind because they curate them so well.
Right. Yeah. That's a great pick. I can't wait to check out Mama Guitar. There's so much of this stuff. Yeah. All right.
Really cool.
All right.
What's your next pick?
Okay, my next pick is Billy Tabbles. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this.
No.
This is from he's from LA, younger guy, I guess. This record came out in 2024, like the end of 2024. It's what you think it is. I mean, like it absolutely. Well, who put this record out? Silver Arrow is the name of the label, which I'm not super familiar with, but this record is fantastic. It's just like, it's a glitter record through and through, like glitter bubblegum pop, like a 70s throwback, but it has enough like like the glitter bands, all those sort of bands like the Boys and everything, who were like these punk bands that came like the Hollywood Brats, I guess, if you think, and they came out of like these hard glitter bands or junk shop type things, and then they kind of morphed into something different.
Yes, yeah.
So this guy he sort of feels right in that kind of happy place where it's like just enough in the glitter, but you can, because the record's relatively new, he didn't have the luxury of sort of like just erasing all the other history within it. So the guitars are a little bit crunchier, the way you might hear like in a punk record, but the singing, it in some ways it reminds me of, what did I write down? Oh yeah, like like the first Supergrass record, how the first Supergrass record is like, and the pianos are really, really heavy in it, and it feels like an overdriven glam record, or a glammy punky record, but at the same time it's just something different. Like you wouldn't call it a punk record or you wouldn't call it a glam record, but this record reminds me of that. It also reminds me of like Red Cross, when Red Cross get into, because he sings in the falsettos the same way the McDonald's would sometimes, where it's just like you're going along and all of a sudden it's just like all falsetto in these like, and then but what a cool record, and it sounds spot on. So it like, in some way, I don't know anything about it, and this is not a slag on something, but when something's so good, you're like, that's got to be a Nepo Baby record. Somebody's helping this out. Like it's so on point. Like it's so well recorded. Oh, like that like record, it's made the rounds recently because it just came out. It just got reissued, right?
Yeah.
And like Mike Laval, like the fella from Gearhead, I remember because I'd posted that record a while back, and he tried to convince me to sell it to him, because that record, it came out in 2007 or 6, right? Is that when it came out originally?
I think it was in 2009 or 10.
It was on Geffen though. It was on, and you could only get it in Japan. Like there
Really?
was no, there was no, because they're from LA, I think, right? And then but you couldn't get that record anywhere, and it was so good. And it was like, and it just got reissued like this year. And so, is that what you're showing it? Are you about to talk about that record?
This was actually one of my picks that I actually looked back in the list and saw that somebody had already covered it.
Oh, well, that's okay. We can
I
just
don't
talk about
remember
it.
it, though. It
That
must have been-
record is
I don't remember anyone showing that. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember.
And they claimed it was the Geffen pressing, which is, in
Wow.
which case, that's crazy because
Yeah,
that-
it's a hard record to get. It's
impossible to get. It was going for like triple digits anywhere you saw it.
Wow.
I got my copy quite a few years ago, and I still had to pay for it. But it was like, and then the last time that I remember at some point, and I don't like talking about the value of records because it drives me crazy, but it's just like, I just remember being shocked by how much that record was selling for. So I was so happy to see that it got reissued because it's so good. And it's just like, people need to have that record. It's like, so I want the price to go down so that more people can have it because it's just, it's good.
I was so thrilled. A friend actually called me from like several states away being like, yo, they reissued that record. I know you've been chasing it for years. And I was like,
Nice.
Oh man, I'm so stoked for you. That's the best. I like a few people because it came out and then because that record we were having a conversation about it just a year ago, and then it seemed like 6 months later, then it got repressed, and it was like because that band sort of disappeared. That record came out and then they broke up straight afterwards, and they're a total Nepo Baby band too.
oh
Like,
yeah,
absolutely. They could play though; they were great. But
that's my whole point about this band. It's like people throw around words like Nepo Babies, industry plants. It actually does. The shoe fits with that band.
Because if you look at all the members, I remember looking up all the members, and I can't remember specifically, but it was like someone's dad ran a studio, someone's dad was the head of some department of some label, and those dresses are genius. Like
the drummer is Tennessee Thomas. She's the daughter of the drummer from Elvis Costello and the Attractions.
Okay.
The singer, Z Berg, is the daughter of Tony Berg, who's like a big time producer. He produced like Amy Mann and like a lot of major label stuff. He was the original producer brought in to do Pleased to Meet Me by the Replacements, but they like locked horns the entire time, and he ended up quitting the project and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, everybody here was like industry connected.
Okay.
And their first album was like what I would consider to be just like kind of middling indie rock without much of an identity. And then somebody was like, all right, we're going to put him in the studio with what's his name, Mark Ronson. I always almost say Mick Ronson, but Mark Ronson, and they have like players from like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings.
Okay.
And they were like, we're going to get you decked out in all these mod clothes, and you're going to do this garage revival. And, you know, it was definitely somebody's game plan at a record label. But the proof is in the songs, and it's such a great record.
Yeah. They only played in Japan in the end. Yeah, their last show was in Japan, and that record only came out in Japan properly.
Hey, I'm in the right place, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah.
To find this record, maybe.
Funny enough, the copy that I ended up getting came from Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, that was because when I ended up because eventually I'm just like I have to have that record because that's like top tier nerdy mod stuff. Like and when that record came out, and I remember when because I was working at a record shop when that album first came out, and you couldn't even get the vinyl at that point, and so we had CD copies floating around the store. This is in Canada, of course, and we're just like, this is the best record ever, and you just couldn't find the vinyl. And then it wasn't until a few years later when you started realizing when eBay and Discogs was coming out that you could even find out where they were even existing, like and so at that point then it got out that there were vinyl copies of that record. I mean, obviously some people knew about it, but I mean, like none of them got to North America, and so you know Crazy. They all ended up in Japan.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I feel like
I'm so on it after this.
Yeah.
Show. Oh God, I'm going to be.
I feel like holding that up totally derailed you talking about.
Jay, was that like?
Oh, I know. You can't do that. I'm like talking about this record, and you're just like, what about me? And I'm just like, the like record. Oh, we should stop talking about this other record and talk about that one because that record's amazing. That's all right. I talked about the record, you know, like, and now we talked about the like record. It's all good.
Beautiful. Jay, was that the pick or not the pick?
Well, that one was the one that was going for my pick, but
okay.
I saw it had been done.
I
So
don't
you
remember
snuck
that
that one in.
Yeah. I had to find an excuse to talk about it anyway, but my next actual pick is I'm going to join in on the fun of butchering pronunciations tonight with this record.
Oh yeah,
is in fairness, people call it just DAF, but I guess it's Deutsch. I can say it, Deutsch Amerikanische Freundschaft.
DAF.
Yes, and the record is called Alles ist gut, which is
Everything's great. Is that what it means?
everything is fine. Is
Everything's fine.
the translation that I found. I just heard this band for the first time recently because a buddy of mine was like, saw my friend Phil, he like saw like a clip online of like a live show of theirs, and he was like, hey, this seems like you're kind of weird. And I watched it and I was like, holy shit, this is my kind of weird. And it was like it I think that they were from West Germany and not East Germany, but it has a very like Soviet beat kind of sound to it. Like it's very much like the rhythm of the Cold War kind of sound. And it just looked like the dankest warehouse you've ever seen, and it looks like a DIY punk show. And like the singer is just like going nuts, and he's really animated on stage. And there's a live drummer, but then it's a live drummer and then just a guy going nuts on a synth. And and I feel like even though I had never heard of this before, I feel like it kind of presages a lot of stuff like Ministry and like stuff that would come afterwards, and a lot of kind of goth and new wave stuff, kind of like the harder new wave, kind of like Killing Joke type stuff and Ministry and that sort of thing. And I feel like it's an influential record that maybe people don't talk about, because I was very shocked to find that it actually came out on Virgin. And they put out like several records on like major labels, and it's not like they were doing very like audience friendly stuff. Like the hit on this record is called like Der Mussolini, and it's like a tongue-in-cheek like dance song, and like the lines are just basically like repeated, and it's like the translation is basically like dance the Mussolini, dance the Mussolini, dance the Mussolini, and then like it cuts to like dance the Adolf Hitler, dance the Adolf Hitler, and then it's like dance the Jesus Christ. And I had to do the diligence. I was like, oh, they're not sketchy, are they? But no, they were like, definitely anti-fascist and everything like that. So they were about like tearing down the kind of idolatry around these people, and the songs, like I said, they're just killer. It's just really good, propulsive, synth music, and it has like a really punk edge about it.
I'm not an expert. They're kind of considered like a very, very influential band, right? On all the stuff that you've mentioned, right? I think they're like the forerunners.
I would think so.
Pioneers, that kind of.
Yeah, it's like when you find a record that's kind of like a missing link that you didn't know you were looking for. To me, like I had never heard of them, and then as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense with so much of the later stuff that I would listen to.
That band was really popular in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Skinny Puppies from Vancouver, and so that was like one step removed. So like all that kind of like that when you think of like German industrial, and that stuff was huge here. And so and I mean they're a little bit more dancey than that, like the KMFDM and like those kind of bands that were also happening at the same time. Definitely. And although my favorites from that was like the Alien Sex Fiend, like that was
hell yeah.
I love that. Was actually nobody picked them for today, but that's okay. That was the scariest show I ever saw in my life. I was like a little kid, and I had no right to be at that show, and it was like one of those things where you and we showed up and we were like little skateboard punkers, so we like thought we were super cool and tough or whatever we thought. And I just remember that show just was so more terrifying than I was prepared for, because you go to hardcore shows and everyone's got their jeans and their shaved heads and they think all these things, and then you go to a show like that and everybody straight up looks like they're from a zombie movie, and you like don't know what you've just walked into. Like even like going to like a Cure show back in the day or whatever, it still had this everybody looked kind of over the top, but there was like enough normies that kind of crossed over that it didn't quite feel weird, you know? But like the gap between that and like an Alien Sex Fiend show was massive. And like, cause those fans were like next level. And I just remember the reason why I mention it is cause like when I think of like the DFA and I think of like the Skinny Puppy fans, they look like that too. They were just so over the top. And if you were like, you just suddenly felt so normal, even though like in some ways you're a total weirdo in your own right, but not in that room all of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah, there's like the glamorous side of goth, and then there's the Alien Sex Fiend fans are like, I'm gonna make myself look like a monster.
I mean,
like,
all that like that first wave like UK stuff, Alien Sex Fiend, Sex Gang Children, the Specimen, the Batcave, all that stuff.
All the Batcave bands. They're awesome. Like that stuff is so good.
We need more talk, more Batcave talk on this show. More Batcave talk.
Oh man. Okay, so there was like a Batcave, I guess, because there's like the Batcave Club, right? And I guess they have like these Batcave parties that still happen. And apparently they have one they have one in Oh yeah. So they had one in Berlin, and we were at this show in Berlin, and I ended up at this show because I was like kind of filling in for bass for this goth band, and I didn't realize that it was like this big festival, but it was at some kind of like complex where once you got inside, it was like one of those 48-hour raves, and you just go inside there and everybody's doing crazy drugs and everyone's just up for however many nights. Just to make it, just for context, we went dancing and we just started dancing. And the next thing we knew is like one of the guys from the band came into like the room and he's like, "Hey, it's like breakfast. Are you guys ready to go?" And we'd been dancing since after the show until like 10 o'clock in the morning, but we didn't know what time of night it was or what time it was, because you're just in this weird cave. It was a bat cave party. That was that was the concept of it. And so anyways.
But back in the day, like the hardcore punks from Bristol and stuff would like make fun of that scene. There's that band Chaotic Discord who made a kind of a joke song about them. But the funny thing was, years later, this is funny, Chaos UK and Alien Sex Fiend did a Japanese tour together.
Yeah,
which is really funny. Like years later, those two, that it was like obviously a business kind of thing, and it was a major label and all that stuff. But yeah, pretty interesting.
I feel often that the way my musical taste ended up shaking out, I'm lucky that I didn't live through the original times when it was being made, because all the bands that I liked would have hated each other, and I don't think I would have been allowed to go between like.
It was like that, right? Especially in England, it was very all sort of divided up into.
Yeah.
All right, my last pick is. Hey, let's talk about Feel It Records. Feel It Records are so prolific. I can't keep up. It's impossible. But if I ever see a Feel It Records release, new or used, I'm probably going to grab it. This one's from 2024. They're from Minneapolis. If I'd have bought it in 2024, it might have made my top 15, top 20 of that year. Talking about, I think this is a great, well, let's see. What do you think of this one? It's the Bermuda Squares.
Oh, I don't know that record.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, this is like one of these. They're like a Minneapolis like supergroup, but I only know one of the bands that it's like supposed to be the bands that make it be a supergroup, and that's the Citric Dummies. The Citric Dummies is a member.
Yes, yeah.
There's a member of the Citric Dummies in this band, and also I'll put the band names out there in case anybody knows these bands. I'm not. It's members of Neo Neos, the Color TV, the Retainers, Dummy, the Soviets. These are all like Minneapolis bands.
I've actually played with a couple of those bands.
So. Okay, nice, cool.
Now I'm on the board.
There you go. There you go.
I'm never going to be on that board, so.
I mean, I always lazily kind of call this stuff dirt nut punk.
Yeah.
It's the Markmen, it's Radioactivity, it's the Carboners, it's gritty, garagey like punk, pop, garage rock, garage punk. I know, man. It's like fucking razor sharp guitars, buzzsaw guitars, like fucking beautiful harmonies, punk as hell. More hooks than your grandpappy's tackle box. That like,
Wow.
I know. I don't know. That quote was really like dragged out from the depths of my brain. Someone used that in Maximum Rock and Roll in like 1987, but I remembered it for some reason. I don't remember.
Wow, you just remembered it.
Remembered it now.
Don't tell Tim. Holy.
That's how my. I don't know if it was Tim who wrote that review. It sounds like something like, I don't know, Paul. What's his name? That other guy who liked garage punk a lot at that time. But I don't know. I don't remember what that. But anyway, this is like that. Super catchy. Marked Men. You know, you can just hear it when I say Marked Men, Carbone.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, right? And
they do go nuts for it in Minneapolis, that's for sure.
I mean, this is like really up there, though. I mean, it's as good as all of those bands that I just mentioned. It's phenomenal, and it might have got lost in the feel. Feel it. It's so prolific. I'm afraid that some records get lost in the shuffle because I didn't know about this one until I saw it and found it like used. But great stuff that I could happily eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. It's like perfect, just beautiful dirt nap record punk on the Feel It records.
One thing I do love about that sound is that, and I don't say this in a flippant way, more of in a positive way, that there's always more where that came from. And
hey, Pat.
There's
Patrick.
Patrick's here. Hey, how you doing? His YouTube channel is blowing up, man. It's crazy, but deserved. I love what Pat's doing on his YouTube channel. It's fucking amazing.
Patrick has a YouTube channel?
Yeah, we got to check it out. It's amazing, and you should be a guest on it at some point.
Me? What is it? What is this channel?
It's like he interviews record collectors and shows their record rooms.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah. Pat, get Jeffie on the show.
Patrick's got some good record nerding qualities, so that's great.
Yeah. There you go. Make it happen. That's my last pick. Bermuda Squares, 2024. Feel It Records. Check it out.
You know, Mike, have you heard of a band from? They're kind of that what you call dirt nap punk. And they're actually from Wisconsin, called Bad Crime.
No, not heard that band. No.
I would definitely recommend them as one of the ones that I think are really doing that sound.
Okay, cool.
In a cool way nowadays.
Nice. All right. What's your last pick?
My final pick. Well, I mentioned a little bit of egg punk in one of my picks, and I always go full egg punk. It's like every single time I've been on, I have done some eggy punk band, and I'm really surprised that no one has talked about this band.
Okay.
But it is Cherry Cheeks.
The Cherry Cheeks.
The Cherry Cheeks.
Both their records are great.
Yes, this is Cherry Cheeks 2, second LP. And it is like 1 million billion% egg punk, but it is and it's on I didn't write down. It's on Total Punk Records, which everything is great on Total Punk Records, pretty much. So Cherry Cheeks, like, what can I say about Cherry Cheeks? So I guess Cherry Cheeks sort of started out as like just a one person solo thing, but then as they started recording, it's actually like a full band with other people. It's definitely, obviously, this is Devo core, synths, bleeps, lots of bleeps, but it's still hard. It's actually, I think, still hardcore.
So,
kind
of. To be clear, Anne, so this is egg. So the term
this is very egg punk.
Oh well, then I know what egg punk is.
But it's like,
I would not use Devo as a descriptor.
But no, right? That's what I'm saying. Devo core and egg punk to me aren't like the same.
Yeah.
It's like I would say these guys are more like Snooper. You know that band Snooper.
Yeah, totally.
Alien Nose Job.
Okay.
Where it's like spastic keyboards,
jittery, agitated, frantic, agitated, like.
Okay, I can. Okay.
I mean, that actually sounded like the Screamers. So, like,
Laughbox, the last time I was on Laughbox, I think fit in that zone.
Yeah, I actually don't know if I know that one. Somebody mentioned Coneheads in the chat earlier.
Yeah.
Coneheads, totally, for sure.
They were kind of ground zero for that. And
yeah, I love that. I love that album. But this is like, but this has like a
shout out Devo in their tape title. So
yeah. But this also has like a bass. This Cherry Cheeks has a bit of a heavier bass kind of. There's like the meatier bass in Cherry Cheeks and some of the other. It's so like I mean I love I guess even if we were distilling Eggpunk down to like just treble, you know, like I'm more drawn to treble, but so this is super trebly but has a meatier bass also. So like that kind of like is a little bit different than just like it's not like thin.
Okay.
You know, it has some kind of like weight to it.
Eggpunk
but
with some meat.
Yeah. But then it's noisy and it's like and it's
looks like an egg that's still got a bit of a bird inside.
It's bacon
a
and
little
eggs.
bit.
Bacon
Yeah.
Open, you're like, oh.
But yeah, Cherry Cheeks, that's the second album. Like, check out like both of their albums are so it's just great. Like you just like you want to just listen to it like all day.
Nice. I definitely love Alien Nose Job, so if it sounds anything.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that nobody's done one of those records on the show yet.
I think
that would have been like those are great records, both of them.
Yeah. Cherry Cheeks. I was like really surprised that one came out in 2023.
Yeah.
Do you like Liquids ever like?
I have a Liquids record. Yeah. Yes. Definitely in that world.
Beautiful. All right, Jeffrey. What's your last one?
So my last one. Since I was just like, because when we finished like the chat, when I was in the chat and then we were talking about the Batcave and I was still in Berlin, that just happened to happen. That was like an organic little moment, wasn't it? And it brought us to this gem from 1980, The Stripes.
Hell yeah.
So I've had this record for a really long time, but I hadn't listened to it for a really long time. And I have another little record project that's always ongoing in my world. And so I had all these records from 1980 that were, talk about milk crates that were all over the floor. There were so many records on the floor. It was so bad. Like, anyways, but that's not what we're talking about. So this record, Gabrielle Kerner, who is also known as Nina, this is her first band. And this record is so great. It's like came out on CBS, and so in 1980, and it's if you were to take like the Nina, like 99 Luftballon Nina, and make it just more of like a punk record, that's what the Stripes are. This record is huge in Germany, and she is huge in Germany still. Like if you go there, like you know when you have like your rock royalty. She's kind of got that kind of status there because she's got a whole because most people in North America only know the one record, but they have strings of hits, and this record is so good. Like that, I think there was 4 singles that came off of this record as well. The song called Observer, it made the rounds in an early batch of Killed by Death comps at some point. And it was like, which is odd because usually they would just show singles, but and Observer is actually just a song. Funny enough, I covered that song in a band once. That in the 90s. But so that's my last choice. If you're not familiar with this record,
I'm not, and I'm
oh my god! I am really so excited for you to hear this record. I mean, like it would be like the equivalent of like the German. It's like Blondie for Germany, a slightly punkier Blondie, but with Nina singing. But it's that catchy. It's just a fantastic album, and it's great. It's got elements of the Clash in it, like where they get into their sort of get a little sky and stuff like that, but it's pretty guitar forward, and her vocals are phenomenal all the way through it. And some of the members ended up forming what would be the Nina band.
Okay.
So so you can really see that they went from this record to that first Nina record, which was probably 1982, I think. And it's a pretty natural progression. So
I think I've heard of the Stripes record at least. I think I've even listened to it a bit before, but I don't think I ever made the connection that evolved into Nina.
Yeah, and I think it's three of the same people. Like,
Okay.
and and when you go back and when you, because you'll look up this record and you're going to be like, oh my god, now I have to buy this record, and then because it's that good.
Well,
and,
you already sold it to me, so everything you said was so relevant to my interests.
I'm so excited for you guys to listen, for everyone to listen to this band if you're not familiar with it, and it's like, and then it actually makes you appreciate Nina more. Because it's like, because 99 Luft Balloons or Red Balloons just became a hit here, and then it just kind of disappeared. And so it really feels out of context to anything other than sort of like these one-hit wonders. But then you suddenly realize, oh no, these people were fully part of like the German punk movement. They morphed into that. Those Nina records are super political because they're talking, like that song is a really political song. It's like, and then you realize, oh, wow, they were like on the forefront of pushing that boundary all the way through the 80s and into the 90s. And so, anyways, exciting records.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
That is super
right.
Cool. And I feel like there's like a lot of equivalents of what you were saying. Like there's that French band, the Stinky Toys.
Yeah.
And then like their two members went on to do minimalist synth as like
Ellie. Yeah, what's the guy's name? And he did it with that girl. What was his name? He had it. It was like
Ellie et Jacno, I think.
Yeah, Jacno. Yeah. That record's great, and it's like those, and it's like do, and it's just like this slow, groovy, pulsating synth song, and it's way slower than you think. And it'd be the type of song that when you're going to go into the roller skating rink, and someone puts on that song, and everyone's just kind of going, "All right, this is going to be sweet." And it just keeps plodding along. And it's like, funny enough, I heard the first time that I heard that song was at like this dance club in Montreal, I think that's where it was at. And we were just out clubbing. And then that song came on. I'm just like, oh man, all right. This is pretty good. It makes sense because it's a French band, but it was in Montreal. So it's just like you go there and that's where you'd hear all these France bands, right? And funny enough, because I almost chose a French record today, because that Indeshine, that first EP, which is really, really great, but I didn't choose that, so I'm not mentioning it. So we have to retract that because we're allowed to pick 5 records. Well, I'm not showing you the records, it doesn't matter. So you're allowed to mention things, but not show them, right? Anyways, so there you are, just dancing away, and then all of a sudden, and that song goes on and on. Anyways, so I digress. Sorry about that.
Killer! I can't wait. This has been a trove tonight of really intriguing picks. We've got one more to go though, Jay. It's the last pick of the day. No pressure.
Well, I kind of teased this one out before, but the name came up a few times, and I thought that it was so obvious that when I checked the list that it was gonna have already been covered, but it wasn't. The ones that I felt were less obvious were the ones that have been picked before. And this falls right in line with my records that it took me forever to find on vinyl, but was so glad when I finally did. So I'm just gonna go with Jet Generation by Wolf.
Nice.
Which is just, I mean, it's hard to even talk about it because I feel like it's just quintessential. Like, it's like required listening. It's that kind of Japanese punk rock and roll where it's like, it's just designed to blow the shit out of your speakers, and as a matter of fact, I was so glad. I can't believe how lucky I got after all these years of hunting for it. It's got some dings and stuff in it, but it's still in shrink. And most importantly, it still has the warning sticker that it came with. And I probably can't get it close enough for it to be.
Read it out.
It says, Guitar Wolf Jet Generation. Warning. This is the loudest album ever recorded. Playing at normal volume may cause irreparable damage to stereo equipment. Use at your own risk.
That's amazing.
And I think that is the coolest. Like, that's up there with, like, as a parent, I found it to be a very anti-parent record, like, in the terms of, like, all-time great hype stickers. Like this record is gonna fuck your shit up, literally. Like,
wild
Man.
band, you know. And it still blows my mind that, like, you know, Sony Records decided to sign them up and everything. And like, I don't have a TV now, but I remember like seeing them quite regularly, like on Japanese TV and stuff, like just like being interviewed, and like they're such a cool, they're like an iconically cool band, like the Ramones, just the way they look and everything. It's like pure, like 100%. It's like rock and roll personified. It's like the cool.
It's like what we were talking about before, like absolute 100% commitment to a vision.
Yeah. And he's never wavered from it, like not one.
They played this, talking about just bands being like so cool that it's hard to even. So this one time seeing them, they were opening for the Cramps, and it would have been like one of those later 90s tours. So like so it was when the Cramps were putting out records on Epitaph. So it's that kind of timeline. Okay. And Guitar Wolf had already been to Vancouver twice, because they came with Teen Generate, and so a bunch of people saw them with that. And then it was like these Nardwar shows, and that's who put them on. So we were already kind of pretty familiar with Guitar Wolf when they came to town for that Cramp show. And it's the Cramp, so everybody goes, and it's like it was like a big event to go see them when they came to town. And but Guitar Wolf, that was the first time of them playing in a bigger room. And so I hadn't really, because every time before that, it'd always been like a smaller room. So it was amazing, but it just had like, you didn't realize that a band like that was going to translate so well to a bigger stage. Because sometimes, you know, when a band's just pure rock and roll energy, you sometimes want to see it in like a little shithole, because that's what you want. But then, and so you don't know if it's going to like, and the Cramps also would have been, they somehow managed to make a bigger stage still work for them too, even though so much about what they did. But that night, man, Guitar Wolf kind of owned that show. They were and it was with the Demolition Doll Rods as well, who were also a fantastic.
I saw that tour.
Yeah.
And Demolition Doll Rods didn't translate to the big stage.
That's what I was thinking, because I saw them before, and I thought
it was like weird.
It was, because I don't remember liking that, because I remember I'd seen them before, and I'm like, oh, this is great, but it was like in a little club. And then they just felt
it was like too
much space between them. Like somehow the sexuality in that band, like, you know, where it's just over the top, only happened because they were basically on top of each other while they're playing. And so it was just like, you know what I mean?
Yes. I saw it at, I think, at the Troc in Philly. Yeah. I saw that tour.
And so,
and they were, I was thinking the exact same thing when you were saying that about Guitar Wolf, how they like owned it, but the Demolition Doll Rods, who I like, and I saw them also in smaller spaces, like just were like, they just were like a dub for that tour.
They have so much charisma, Guitar Wolf.
And this I'll finish this one little bit about Guitar Wolf, because this was fascinating. So you know how they would sometimes do the bit where Guitar Wolf would hand his guitar over and someone else would be playing, and he'd like do some kind of antic. He did this, and I can't remember what the name of the venue was, but it had these two giant monitors, like huge monitors, like, because this was for like a bigger club. And so he's giving the guitar over to someone, and the person was kind of playing it, like it was kind of work, you know, because sometimes it's a train wreck, and sometimes, it was happening, and he climbs up to the top of the monitor, and I mean, it must have been 10 feet plus, 15 feet up, because he was way above us, and we were like right up front, and you're just like, oh, and then he's like, rock and roll, you know, like the thing, and just dove off. I'm trying to give like the you know, like, and just dove and just splatted on the stage and just laid there, and you're like, oh God, he's dead. And then he just like and then just jumped up and was like, rock and roll, and it's like, and it was like, you know, when you're just like, you've just witnessed something and everyone's just like, and we're all losing it, and the person who's playing guitar, I don't even know what they're doing, and we're all just going mad. And it's just like, and that's kind of the tail end of the show, and then the Cramps come and play after that, and it was like, you already were like so blown away that it was like, I couldn't, like, I you know, I'm never gonna knock a Cramps live show, because they were phenomenal, and they were still good, but man, did Guitar Wolf ever just own that show.
The most recent Guitar Wolf story or video that I saw, they did an Australian tour. They were in Australia. They went to Australia. They played like some like junior high school, like during the day,
Yeah.
I guess like the principal or whoever who had like set it up, and like he usually comes on like like shotguns a beer, like sprays it in the crowd, and like says something. He had a bottle of milk instead. So, like,
No.
it was amazing, and all these kids are just sat there. These Australian kids like being given a Guitar Wolf performance, or like during their lunch break or something, and Guitar Wolf was like hanging out with all the kids, and they were like they loved it, and they thought he was amazing, and it probably inspired a few kids to kind of go and form a band. I want to say, because I'm absolutely, and he's such a kind of good guy, such a kind of friendly, down to earth guy, and like amazing band, and just but they tend to play. They still play in quite small clubs actually in Japan. I think they're bigger outside of Japan maybe now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When they recently played in Philly, really small place, really small.
Yeah, last time I saw them in Jersey, they played a small place, which was also a shithole, like not in like the good way, shithole, like
right. All right.
What was the name of that movie? Wild Zero. Was that
yes?
Yeah. Oh,
the zombie movie with the guitars that shoot lasers and kills. Oh my god, there's so much.
that movie is amazing because it has Guitar Wolf, but it also has this like D-beat like crust band from the guy called SDS.
Yeah,
were in there, and there was this period where like SDS were kind of getting more rock and roll. It's really fascinating stuff. It's amazing. But
so my one of my best friends who I play in a band with actually, he and I sat down to watch Wild Zero. And there's actually a built-in feature on the DVD, which is a drinking game. And the rules are hilarious because it's like you're supposed to drink when somebody yells rock and roll. Anytime somebody runs a comb through their hair, anytime fire shoots out of something, anytime a head explodes. And it's like, well, how much can any one of those things happen? So hopefully, if you enable the feature on the DVD, a beer icon appears on the screen when you're supposed to drink. So we're keeping up with it. By the end of the movie, all those things are happening at once with such frequency that the beer icons are just lined up across the bottom of the screen. And we both almost went to the hospital that night.
All right, I think that's an amazing way to finish. That's a great story. I got to get that Wild Zero DVD.
Oh yeah,
wasn't that a great show? Yes, it was a great. We had a great time, and hope everyone watching has had a great time. Anne's left us for that. Come on, Anne, get back for the finale. There's not much of a finale. Whoa!
What? How am I the last one left?
No, I'm still here, but I can see myself.
Hang on a minute. Let's. Oh. There we go. Now it's only me. Where's Anne? Anne, come back. There we go. I don't know if Anne's gonna make it for the finale.
For the outro?
For the outro.
It's like I was waiting for this.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Oh no.
There we go. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, I'm going to be with two Canadians by myself, Greg and Dave. Going to be a great show. Tonight was great. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to sign off. I'll probably keep chatting a little bit after the camera stop rolling. Till next time, see you next week. See you next Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Stay healthy and stay clean.